I always knew that my son was special. He was my first child, and I loved him more than anything in the world. When he grew up and got married, I couldn't accept it. I couldn't believe that he found someone who could replace me. It was hard to let go of my beloved child, but I still gave him into the hands of another woman. My son is my life. I love him more than anything and am ready to do anything for him. I raised him alone without a husband because he was always on business trips, and it was very difficult. But I always tried to be both a mother and a father to him at the same time. I learned how to change a bicycle wheel, play football, and toy soldiers with my child to support my son's interests. And I know he appreciates it. I am ready to do everything possible to make him happy and successful in life, because he is my most precious treasure. I knew his wife didn't love him the way I do. She doesn't care about him at all, doesn't cook, leaves dishes dirty in the sink, scatters her things, and overall, she is a poor homemaker. But I still wanted to be close to him. I wanted to care for him as I had done all his life. So, I would go to his apartment every week to take his dirty clothes and bring them home to wash and iron. I had my own key to their door, and while they were at work, I would quietly collect the clothes without his wife noticing and tidy them up. I can't leave it like this. I just can't. I know my son is busy with work and studies and doesn't have time for laundry, so I do it for him, since his wife still hasn't learned to wash his socks and iron his trousers after 3 years of marriage. I take the dirty clothes home and wash them with baby detergent. It takes me a lot of time and effort, but I know it's necessary. I try to do everything as best as I can so that my son always has clean and fresh clothes. I also bring them back quietly when no one is home. I don't disturb anyone, I just leave a stack of my son's fresh, clean laundry in his closet. She doesn't even know that my child is allergic to regular detergents, but every time she just throws all the dirty things together and washes them. Then hangs them any old way. The sweater I knitted for his last birthday got all stretched out and pilled because his wife doesn't know that wool shouldn't be washed in hot water and then hung on an ordinary line. I had to unravel it and knit it again. It's easier for me to do everything myself than to fix what this klutz has messed up. But my daughter-in-law doesn't understand why I do this. She says it's not her job and that I should teach my son to be independent. But I can't just leave him alone with dirty clothes because she, obviously, is used to living in a pigsty and complete mess. I love my son and want him to be healthy and happy. And if I can help him with that, why not? My husband scolded me for this. He said I pay too much attention to our grown son, that he chose this wife himself. Let him live with her as he wants. But I can't sleep peacefully knowing that my son comes home, does the ironing, laundry, and cooking while she lies on the couch and relaxes. So, I decided to do all his laundry one last time and not bother him anymore. Early in the morning, after they went to work, I came to their place and collected all their clothes, even some dirty things of his wife's because they were already smelly, and she would probably put them next to my child's clean things. I sorted them and wanted to quickly wash them. I sent my husband to visit his friend because he had been staying home for too long. And I started the laundry. I washed a few blankets along with his clothes, dried everything, ironed it neatly, and ended up with a large bundle, which I took to my son's home. Luckily, his house was very close to mine, and I wouldn't have to carry this load far. He lived on the 4th floor, and my legs are bad, so I always took the elevator with the things, but this time, the elevator wasn't working. Today was the maintenance day, and there was no other time for me to bring his things. I had to go up the stairs, probably taking more than an hour. It was very hard, I dragged those things, but kept thinking about my son, my child, that he would live in filth. I cried the whole time I was going up. I felt so sorry for him, I wanted to continue caring for him so that he would be okay, or at least find another woman who would be by his side, be compliant, and take good care of him. And so finally, I reached his door and, as usual, entered quietly without knocking. I quickly dropped the things I had brought with me and gently closed the door behind me, not wanting to disturb the neighbor's dog, which would start yapping annoyingly if it heard any noise in the hallway. To my surprise, I saw unfamiliar shoes scattered around. They hadn't been there when I left, so I was very surprised. Perhaps he and his wife got off work early and came home, and this doll had again thrown everything around the hallway. I walked further into the room and noticed his trousers lying on the floor at the bedroom entrance. I thought I might have dropped them and forgotten to wash them, so I wanted to pick them up and at least iron them at his place so he could wear them tomorrow. I picked up the trousers near the bedroom entrance and heard moaning from inside. When I looked up, I saw my son in bed with another woman. His wife was a blonde, but this girl had dark hair. I just froze, staring at the scene. Then my son saw me and shouted, "Mom, get out. What are you doing here? You never give me a break." I shamefully closed the door and said, "Please come out, I need to talk to you." After a while, he came to the kitchen wearing the bathrobe I had given him. "Mom, why are you in our house? Do you have keys?" "Yes, son, you gave me these keys last year, so I could visit you sometimes." "Well, Mom, usually guests announce themselves," he retorted. "I just came to do your laundry, I told you I would." "I thought you'd come tomorrow," he snapped and turned away. "Sorry, but did Svetlana dye her hair?" I asked carefully after a short pause. "No, Mom, this is another girl," he replied, embarrassed. "Are you cheating on your wife?" "You're probably going to judge me harshly for this," he said. "No, son, it's okay. The choice is always yours. I actually like this Natalia more, honestly. Svetlana is a careerist, she doesn't keep the house, but Natalia cooked lunch, cleaned the kitchen, and she seems very kind and attentive. It's clear she knows how to take care of her man. But I'll still stay married, this is just a fling, probably," he replied thoughtfully. "All right, son, whatever you decide, I'll always be on your side. I washed your clothes with your favorite detergent. Here are your things. I won't disturb you anymore if you have a girl like Natalia taking care of you," I said and turned to leave his home. I was very glad he finally found himself a decent girl. I immediately noticed the tidy kitchen, clean floor, and soup on the stove. This girl could definitely keep my son in order, and she had a pleasant appearance too. I had no doubts that my son left Svetlana because he understood where beauty and order were and where ugliness and chaos were. Weeks passed after this incident, and I was calm knowing my child was warm and cared for. I went to a store and saw Svetlana there, as usual, buying expensive and strange products. I approached her and saw she had avocado, some other green fruit, buckwheat, and kefir in her basket. I approached her and asked, "Svetlana, are you going on a diet?" "Hello, Mrs. Nina, yes, my husband and I are going on a diet. We want to look photogenic for our trip to Bali this summer," she replied haughtily. "What do you mean, with my son? You've broken up with him." "What? Did he tell you that?" she asked. "Well, he has someone else now, Natalia." "What other girl?" "That can't be true. We haven't even argued," she replied. But Natalia came over, they were together, and she even cleaned the kitchen and did so much more. "I thought he had already told you." "So, congratulations, you can find another man to choke on buckwheat with," I said. "What kitchen, what Natalia? You've been turning your son against me and now bringing some Natalia or whatever her name is into our bed. I understand everything now. Just let us live in peace and leave us alone," Svetlana said, threw her basket, and stormed out of the store. I didn't know she was such a troublemaker, but I was even more surprised that my son had left Natalia for this hopeless woman. Some time later, my son called me. Hello, son, what happened? I said softly. As usual. Mom, what did you tell my wife? She was about to pack her things. I told her the truth. You need to understand she's not right for you. Natalia is much better for you. What Natalia? What have you imagined? But it was like that, I thought you chose her and broke up with your wife. I didn't break up with anyone, and there was no Natalia. Stop calling me, and we're changing the locks. Forget about me, I no longer exist for you. As it turned out, his wife didn't divorce him but tightened her grip on him and forbade him from talking to me. But how could that be? I am his mother. How can some woman who didn't even give birth to him forbid him from talking to his own mother? His closest kin? And how could my child, in his right mind, reject me? What did I do wrong?